Google. Let's go get them again.
Welcome back to another episode of Samplin Samples. Today we are delving into the brand of Bvlgari and a 2025 release. This is a sample from their Gemme line, the Gems, and their Privé line, which is basically what it is. Their upper echelon line, their very expensive line, by the way, and its newest release called Amunae. Amune, as per the press release from Bvlgari, they said the name of this fragrance means that which is hidden in Arabic, echoing the moon, which is something that is unseen but always felt. All right, little marketing mumbo jumbo from Bvlgari. For me personally, this line has flopped. It's been flopping a lot. I've delved into, I think, 3 or 4. You can check my channel. I've delved into, I think, 3 or 4 of the women's line. And I think I mentioned this a while ago, and I said Bvlgari should really, they have different bottles for the women's line and the men's line. I think they're finally listening to me, because the Dior's, the Chanel's, all that, they all had the same bottles and they just call them unisex. So now, instead of having a men's and female aisle of their high-end Privé line, I think what they're doing now is putting them all in the male type of bottles. So interesting that they're going with that. But yeah, the Bvlgari line, which is very expensive, it's actually more expensive than a lot of the Privé lines. I'm a huge Bvlgari guy. Their men's line, their women's line, and I mean their signature lines, which are their cheap line, basically, quote unquote, has always been good. They do great things with tea, by the way. But I've always liked Bvlgari. Yeah, they have some flops, but they're one of those brands like Cartier and stuff like that that kind of go off the beaten path. They sometimes go in the popular stuff, but really, LVMH owns Bvlgari's rights to their fragrance line, if I'm not mistaken. And this line, this Privé line, the Gemme line, really reminds me of Louis Vuitton. Like, it feels like Cavalier, which he has done a few of these Bvlgaris. It feels like they're going in that direction, where the Louis Vuittons that I've smelt are not very original. They feel very overpriced, and they feel like they're copying other things. The Gemme line kind of smells like that. It smells like poor design, like Tigar, the big hype beast. And again, I haven't smelt them all, so we'll just say that. But I'm just saying my experience with the Gemme line isn't very. Tigar is not a very good scent as far as price versus quality versus blending. It's a big game Broxen bomb. And I'm just like, you can get this with, cheap designers like Vibrato. I don't feel regal. I don't feel like when I'm wearing it, I'm just like, well, this is what the kids like. Obviously they do. Their taste is, Bleu de Chanel's and Sauvage and stuff like that. So this Tigar stuff, I guess, smells good to them. To me personally, and again, I take these lines and I continue to give them chances. Because you never know. I've always had that feel that I'm never going to really quit on the line. Like, after a while, I might just go, okay, that's enough. I'm going to take a little break on this line, but I'll continue to give them chances. So this one right here, brand new 2025 release. Let's see what it brings to the table. Now, if you're new here, welcome to the Robzoe channel. I'm your host, Mark. Hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, much appreciated. I bought this little sample with my own money. And all I am is honest. I'll tell you how I feel. It's an opinion. It's not fact on fragrances, but like, Tigar is a big hype beast. And I'll go on I'll go on bandwagons with great scents. And I'll tell you, yeah, I'm on the, like, Le Lion by Chanel. Big hype on that one. It's easy for me to just be a contrarian and just be like, no, that's garbage. And I don't like a lot of Chanel fragrances. I always feel like they're overrated, but Le Lion was great. That's just a recent thing of me just going, okay, I'm on the bandwagon, but sometimes I'm just not. And that's, the great thing about this journey. Just because people love Tigar from this line and they want to spend the big money, go ahead, you enjoy it, love it. For me, I'm going to give you my thoughts. Overpriced, overhyped, pretty garbage. The only reason I would add it to my collection, I wouldn't pay retail. I would only get it because of the YouTube channel. It'd be like a good reference point of being like, look, I'm trying it out. I still got the bottle. I'm still trying it, and do a full review. I did one on a sample. So But yeah, let's go back to the new release and see what we got here. Let's go under the hood. Let's take a look at some stats on this one. Let's get this review going. Release date, of course, 2025. The nose behind this is Sophie Labbe. Great nose. Love what Sophie has done in her resume. Really, really great perfumier. Let's take a look at the note breakdown. There are some notes in there that are just like really interesting, and some are just like kind of boring note breakdown as a whole. So up top we have aldehydes and olibanum. So olibanum incense. So up top, very interesting. Aldehydes, okay, like I can dig it. You know this floral citrus. It might be a champagne bubbly kind of thing. Let's see. In the middle we have jasmine and ambrette, and right then and there I was just like, oh, where's this going to go? Is this going to go really clean? Is it going to go really gray? Because a lot of these notes now, aldehydes, jasmine, ambrette, and forget about the olibanum, are all very gray, very white, very, I want to say no personality kind of notes, right? And you do have a lot of personality depending on the use, but you can tell kind of flat sometimes, kind of grayish. And then in the back end, we have black musk. What's that? I've never seen black musk in the note breakdown, just musk. And then oak, so interesting wood to utilize. Now the big notes to my nose were the aldehydes, the musk, and the jasmine. So you kind of know already, like from me just saying these are the big notes. The olibanum is the sexy note in this note breakdown, for me personally, the incense, right? And the oak. It'd be interesting to see a lot of that, but when you start going to musk, jasmine, aldehydes, you kind of know where this one is going to go. So let's delve into it. Let's smell this one. So I wore this one for a few days, and it is my scent of the day today. I'm actually wearing it now, but let's do the last dab here and remind me of the introduction of this fragrance, and then we're going to launch it. So launching, let's see if I get my extra 2 points. It did not go under the door, so not a win. So first impression, it's funny because I have a little notebook that when I'm testing out fragrances, right when I'm like done sampling samples, I move on to another sampling. Like I might have 3 or 4 on the go, and then I add a new one, and it's my very first smell. So I'm at my computer, I'm just like, okay, let's start this file. I have a little file on every single one. I'm very robotic in regards to my testing. And then I just put it, a dab or a spray, and then I put it on a strip, and then I give my first thoughts and my first writing. And right off the bat, Amunae smelled so familiar. I was like, what does this smell like? Now it's clean. It's laundry-like. It's like a jasmine, very, like I said, kind of like in the fog. My very first dab, which I put on back of my hand and started thinking, and I'm like, okay, what does this smell like? It didn't take me long. It took me, I was like, so familiar. What is this? Is this niche? Is this designer? It was in that realm, right? It's kind of like basic. It's like, where is this going? And it's very familiar. Took me 2 minutes to finally get it. And it smells like another 13 by Le Labo. I've had this fragrance for a while. Now that one is exactly where this review is going to go. Is kind of like one of those experiment kind of fragrances from Le Labo, where it really, to me personally, when I blind bought my bottle of this, because it was back in the day, it was mine was made in Colette, which was I believe a store somewhere, and in Russia, I think, which only carried another 13. And this was made, it says here, it was made in 2013. That's when mine was made, in my other 13 in 2013. Anyway, it felt, when I first unboxed this, I was just like, like it's not like a Rose 31. It's not like a Poivre 23 from Le Labo, which has personality. This felt like it was a slow burn for me. And it has like a cult following where people are like, this is fantastic. It's like the best from Le Labo. I see the artistic side of it, but it took me a while because it's kind of, I don't want to say dull, or it just doesn't have any fireworks per se. So it smells like another 13, and it's like kind of like, oh, right, Bvlgari again, right? Their line isn't speaking to me. It's unfortunate, but it's not. So Another 13 was launched back in 2010, and it does have a sort of a cult following. This really, like, immediately on my first day, on my first wearing, you know, this kind of disappointed me a bit on this fragrance alone, since I'm waiting for Bvlgari to step up with this Le Gemme line. I'm waiting for something that will blow my socks off. They just haven't, and this was so close to Another 13 that the excitement died down very quickly with me. It wasn't like, oh, okay, let's give it another chance. And I did, right? I wore it 2-3 times, and I'm just like, this is the same story. Not getting anything new here. It's not bringing anything new to the table that's going to make me pay more. Because the Le Labo, correct me if I'm wrong, is cheaper than this line. So why would I pay more for the bottle? I guess more juice, maybe, because I think Le Gemmes are 125s. I'll have to double back on that. But so what does it smell like? Well, easy enough to describe. Ambrette meets jasmine. Musks and aldehydes are met with it. It's floral, it's fresh, it smells skin-like but clean. It has a little bit of green aspects. It has a little bit of woody aspects, but also quite synthetic, like Another 13. It's a melange of notes that, depending on your nose, may work or just may not work. This is the same kind of effect as Another 13 for me. Ambrette is primary here with its familiar gray, musky, fuzzy pieces. It can give off powdery touches as well. Kind of think Ambrette as a substitute for iris. And a lot of people do like Ambrette. I do like Ambrette in fragrances, but and sometimes, you know, it's like a cheaper, some people say like a cheaper version of iris. Like if you want to cheap out, use Ambrette. I really do like Ambrette in scents, and it has, you know, a solid Ambrette note in here. It can also come off kind of like a tad sweet and a little fruity, like pear-like, but it has this when done well on skin. So it kind of smells very musky to me. Now the jasmine is second in command, does the same here as the Ambrette, giving its more floral musky touches, and I get mild green touches from this floral as well. Aldehydes, of course, come in. The olibanum was missed, or at least to my nose. And when I noticed that I missed that note, I knew that it would be at least a kind of like a softer side of the note, perhaps like a little lemon from the olibanum. But other than that, it's not going to be a big bulky thing. It's not going to be heavy resin. You're not getting any smoke. You're not going to get anything that's, you know, the only thing I could think of is a very soft olibanum. It's a top note for a reason. There's not much of it, so it's probably going to burn off quite quickly. But I never really felt like, in my notes, I didn't feel like going, oh, okay, olibanum does this, this, and this. No, it was more about musk, aldehydes, ambrette, jasmine. Those are your primaries, heavy secondaries in this release. So now moving into the mid of this fragrance, Amunae takes a page again of Another 13. Thinking, you know, I get Ambroxan meets ISOE Super, where slight woody touches could come from the ISOE Super, while the Ambroxan fuzzy, creamy skin like musks comes off. That's how I felt in this back end. Now, of course, you know, olibanum can give out woody and nuances, so it could be that, giving me that, but really mildly mineral as well, you know. When Another 13 smelt like magazine pages that have kind of like some inkiness to it and paper, it smells like going into the hairdressers and you smell like the hot air. This has that familiar touch as well in the back end. I mean, it really felt like artistic, yeah. Artistic, yeah, but here more of a stolen idea than a unique one. So it kind of, you know, when you start ripping off like a really old idea, you know, and it's still artistic, yes. So if you're new to the fragrance game and you don't know anything about Another 13, you may smell this and go, wow, what an artistic piece. Like there's something to this fragrance that, and Another 13, excuse me, that really intrigues people. And I could see this doing the same thing as Another 13. So overall, yeah. Overall, if you like the Le Labo release, this is right up there with Another 13. Blend, I would say same. Scent profile, same. Like same quality. So everything that this delivers, this fragrance also delivers. So you're not dropping down in quality. You're not getting more than you pay for, right? But you're not losing anything. I feel like they're very close alike. I didn't see this fragrance do anything more than the Le Labo or anything better. It's on par, but it's more expensive. You'll feel that there's some differences between the two, you know, as it's not a complete clone or dupe of sorts, but that general idea and feeling of both fragrances are the same when I wear these two. So I even, you know, wore this in the middle of the testing of this fragrance just to see. This is a loss for Bvlgari. This is not, you know, maybe, you know, it'll, or I'm not going to say trick people, but, you know, it'll get some people to buy units because it's an interesting scent profile that's kind of off the beaten path a little bit. And if this ever gets discontinued, then they win, right? But it's more expensive than this one. So anybody that's interested in this fragrance and didn't pull the trigger yet, I would highly recommend to get a sample of this. Now, you may not get the same overall effect, and you may prefer one over the other, but for me, I feel like this is plentiful, and the Bvlgari line, I'm still waiting for something that's unique, interesting, and well done for the price that you're asking. This is not there. So let's go into seasons, day, night, versatility, and performance. Seasons, this kind of scent profile is pretty much seasonless. Like you don't, I'm not gonna put it, I could put it in a little box. I think spring's best. The tweeners are best, right? Spring, fall. Summer, winter, sure. I feel like any season you can wear this. You don't have to put it in a box and kind of say, oh, this is, yeah. But you're looking at jasmine, you're looking at aldehydes, you're looking at, you know, kind of like a white musk type of thing going on. Ambroxan. It feels more spring to me. Day or night, I feel like it's more of a daytime scent. It just doesn't have that je ne sais quoi, right, for a nighttime scent. I feel like it's more of a, you know, pedestrian daytime kind of scent. Versatility, very high. Very, very high. Again, these kind of faceless fragrances, that I kind of put them in that area, the gray area. High versatility. Performance, not a bomb. Longevity, you're looking at 6 to 8 hours, which is plenty enough for any fragrance out there. Projections average, so it's really an average performer. I didn't see anything that 10 plus hours. Now, if you start putting it on clothing, as per usual, I never gauge on clothing with fragrances because all fragrances last on clothing days until you wash them, right? I hate when people say, oh, performance is huge, especially when I put it on my shirt. Yeah, of course. Of course. So performance, yeah, fairly average, good. Not a bad score at all. So my final thoughts on this one is that it's clean, it's neutral smelling, it's inoffensive. It has that minimalist feel as well. As a whole, this Bvlgari Le Gemme line is either stealing from other top sellers and doing things that smell cheap, or they kind of smell like designers and they're in the designer realm, something that would be a lot less expensive, right? As beautiful as these bottles are, and as much as I respect and love the brand of Bvlgari as a line, this Le Gemme line seems like it's not very authentic to its customer base. And they're trying to go viral with some of these releases, I think, with the next thing that smells like the thing that's already out there. There's no real thinking of these releases. It really seems, like I said in the intro, that LVMH, which owns Bvlgari's fragrance line, is using this line like they're using their own Louis Vuitton line with Jacques Cavalier. To me, that's not good enough for the line of Bvlgari, right? I don't know, just another 13 from Le Labo. For 100 mils, you're looking at retail $335 USD. Not cheap. Which this one right here, Amunae, is 460 USD. Now, granted, you get an extra 25 mil. They're 125 mil, these bottles. So you get an extra 25 mil for how much more? You know, 120 something, I don't know. Either way, it's Estee Lauder versus LVMH. It's two big brands that purchase these brands, right? But this time I'm going with Estee Lauder with their Le Labo line. I really think that pound for pricing, for scent profile, and what it gave me, and it's much, much older, like it has, 15 years on the market. This is Bvlgari's high-end Privé line. You need to come with something, it's clone-ish. That's exactly what it, like, it's just not, it's like Tigar and Vibrato, right? Are you Suspiro or you're Bvlgari, right? Who are you? Like, what are you doing? Are you just knocking out, like, are you going to do a Baccarat one? There probably is a Baccarat 540 Bvlgari Le Gemme somewhere in their collection. They're just stealing ideas that are doing well on the market. I don't know. For me personally, this one was, the quality's still there. So it's a nice scent profile, but at the end of the day, like, it's an interesting artistic piece. That's where it kind of goes into. It's not like, it wouldn't be my first choice. Like Another 13, as much as it has a cult following. Am I in the cult? No, I'm kind of like outside the cult. Like, I'm like, I understand why you guys are so gung-ho with Another 13, but I'll stick with Pauv 23. I like Rose 31, Bergamot 22, among others from the line. I prefer those. They have a little more personality, but putting on Another 13 once in a while, that artistic touch, I kind of like it. So if I had to give this a score, and I kind of have to poo-poo and kind of put away a little bit of my gripes on this one, because the scent profile is well done, right? If it was more expensive and it was a worse version of it, then the score would be really bad. But I think it's just on par with the Another 13. So my score is going to be right below bottle worthy, because I have a bottle of Another 13. So I'm going to give this one 7 out of 10. And the only reason it's at 7 and not higher is because of its creative pieces that make it what it is. Basically a stolen idea, but I can't deny that it's a good scent, which is why it's a 7 and not lower. But yeah, if you're asking for more and you're actually worse than the product that you're imitating, we'll say, then you're gonna get lower than 5 on my channel. You will. So I wouldn't be surprised if somebody bought this and they didn't know that Another 13 even existed. And this is what these videos are all for. Hopefully I helped out somebody that's on the cusp of buying this thing because it's a new release, and kind of go, I haven't heard about Le Labo. Let me try it. And maybe they'll discover the brand of Le Labo, which is not a bad brand to check out. They're okay. They do get poo-pooed a lot on the internet, but yeah, Le Labo's all right. They're decent. But again, both very expensive lines here, Le Gemme and Le Labo. And again, they are purchased by bigger brands, right? Estee Lauder owns Le Labo, LVMH owns Bvlgari's lines. So you're still lining pockets of, the bad people. So now that turned my take, I'd love to see yours in the comments below. I don't know how many people have smelt this. It really limits as far as pricing goes. These kind of fragrances, not a lot of people may have smelt this, but I'd love to see your take. If you're going to, bash it all to hell, perfect. Go ahead. I don't own any stocks on these brands, so go ahead, have fun. If you want to give it as much praise, you want to call it a 10 out of 10, sure. If you enjoy it, awesome. I can't wait to see the comments. Let us know why. It's always nice to see. But yeah, a 7, and I think it's only because of the quality is there. I really did like it, but again, it's like a cheaper scent profile of quality, right? They didn't improve upon it. It's not more expensive because it's better. It's more authentic smelling. That's where I'm at with this one. And as always, a great pour fragrance will make a lasting impression. Choose your scent wisely. Thanks for watching, YouTube. Have a good one.